There exists a category of creatures in this world. They have been spotted by a few, yet their existence remains unconfirmed. We refer to them collectively as unidentified mysterious animals, UMA. Hello everyone, and welcome to the World in 10 Minutes series. Since today's topic is quite extensive and involves two unknown creatures, I will be splitting it into two parts. In this episode, we will first introduce a mysterious amphibious creature found in southern China, the blood-sucking blanket. Also known as the mat, shizi, tansy, dipihuan, and green-furred monster, this enigmatic creature has different names in different regions. It has been sighted throughout Yunnan province, particularly in the western areas near the border with Myanmar, including the Xishuangbanna region. The blood-sucking blanket is often described as a flat-bodied amphibious creature that resembles a thick-furred mat or rug. It is said to be at least 2 meters wide, and it lurks in water bodies or low-lying wetlands near rivers, preying on small to medium-sized mammals. Its back is covered in green or brown fur, while its underside is lined with numerous sharp suction cups that it uses to latch onto its prey and drain their blood until they are completely dry. The earliest known records of the blood-sucking blanket appear in the book Mysterious Animals of China, written by Xu Chao, a Chinese cryptozoologist. One of the earliest reported incidents occurred in the summer of 1976 or 1977 in Ruli, Yunnan province. A young girl was swimming in a pond when she was suddenly attacked by a strange, furred creature. The creature wrapped tightly around one of her arms, refusing to let go. Her father, fearing for her life, made a split-second decision to cut off her arm to prevent the creature from draining her blood completely. A few weeks later, another tragic incident occurred at the same pond. A young man was swimming when he was suddenly dragged underwater by a dark floating shape. When his body was later recovered, it was still covered in suction marks left by the creature. The third recorded case varies in sources, with some claiming it happened in 1993 and others stating it occurred in the autumn of 2000. This event took place in Mengla County, Xishuangbanna Dai Autonomous Prefecture. Two Dai brothers were hunting near the Daluo River, exploring a cave along the riverbank. Inside, they found animal bones scattered everywhere. The younger brother noticed a thick-furred mat lying on the ground and assumed it was an abandoned bedding left by a previous visitor. Out of curiosity, he kicked it. The mat suddenly sprang into the air like a gust of wind and wrapped around both of his legs. He immediately felt a numbing sensation. His older brother, hearing his screams, rushed to the scene and saw him thrashing in agony on the ground. Thinking quickly, the older brother grabbed a torch and set the creature on fire. A burning hair stench filled the air, and the creature shrank back, rolled itself up, and disappeared into a pool of water deep inside the cave. However, the younger brother's skin had been completely torn away, exposing his raw muscles. Terrified, the brothers fled the cave immediately. The most well-known and widely reported sighting took place on March 15, 2000. A fisherman named La Moli was night fishing along the Daluo River. While gazing at the water, he noticed a square-shaped black object floating towards him. It resembled a thick-furred mat, drifting closer and closer. Curious, he stepped forward for a better look. That's when he saw that one end of the mat had small, glowing blue eyes reflecting the moonlight. The other end had a long, thin tail. Realizing it was a living creature, La Moli immediately threw a stone at it. Startled, the creature suddenly lunged forward, gliding swiftly toward the center of the river before disappearing beneath the surface. Later that same night, La Moli was woken by his dog's frantic barking and painful cries. Rushing to the riverbank, he saw his two hunting dogs, a large adult and a small pup. The small pup was being dragged into the water by an unseen force. The larger dog was desperately biting and pulling at something to fight it off. After a brief struggle, the large dog successfully dragged a giant blanket-like creature onto the shore. Upon noticing La Moli approaching, the creature released the pup and fled back into the river. Unfortunately, despite escaping from being pulled into the water, the small pup had already lost too much blood from large suction wounds and did not survive. The cases mentioned earlier are among the most well-documented modern sightings of this mysterious creature. While researching, I also came across various scattered records, but their authenticity remains uncertain. To avoid speculation, I won't list them all here. However, I do want to share one particularly interesting event. In 2014, a domestic reality TV show organized a group of celebrities to travel to Xishuangbanna in search of the blood-sucking blanket. During the episode, the participants claimed to have witnessed a strange object floating on the water. It resembled a thick fur-like mat. Terrified, they quickly fled the scene. However, after the show aired, one of the actors later revealed that the so-called creature was actually a prop staged by the production team. This immediately reminded me of the infamous hoax involving the Loch Ness Monster. Some people will do anything for views and attention. Interestingly, descriptions of similar blood-sucking creatures can also be found in ancient Chinese texts. One of the earliest records appears in the book Yuyang Zazu, written by Duan Chengxi during the Tang Dynasty. The original text describes, "A fisherman suddenly ran ashore, frantically waving his hands, unable to speak. When examined, his back was found to have a strange, yellow leaf-shaped creature with serrated edges firmly attached to him. The creature could not be removed, and it was only after setting it on fire that it finally let go. The fisherman, however, had already lost too much blood and did not survive. No one knew what this creature was. The location of this event is recorded as Jiangzhou, which is now Zhujiang City, Jiangxi Province. The story tells of Wen Hui, a Tang Dynasty poet and government official who witnessed a fisherman being attacked by a 1-meter-long, leaf-like creature. The creature latched onto the man's back and refused to release him. Even after repeated attempts, it could not be pried off. Only after setting it on fire did it finally loosen its grip. The creature was found to be covered in tiny holes, each containing a sharp, nail-like mouth. The fisherman bled to death soon after. No one could identify what kind of creature it was. A similar case was later recorded in the Ming Dynasty in the book The Biography of Ye Heng, Xie Hang Chuan, written by Zhang Dai. However, in this version, the creature was referred to as Bai Zui Chong, meaning white-mouthed bug. During the Qing Dynasty, the famous scholar Yuan Mei recorded another account in Zibuyu, What the Master Wouldn't Speak Of, Volume 8. The original text states that in the year 1771, Qianlong's Xinmao year, in Zhenjiang, Jiangsu Province, a strange incident occurred. A man named Liu Jiyun was preparing to cross the river when he saw strong winds overturning several boats. The floating cargo attracted a group of local divers, known as water ghosts, shuigui, who made a living by salvaging lost goods. They agreed on a price with the boat owners and dove into the water to retrieve valuables. However, when they resurfaced, one of them was missing. The others assumed he had stolen treasures and hidden underwater, so they went back down to search. But no matter how hard they looked, they could not find him. When the search party finally spotted the missing diver, they found a massive red turtle, about the size of a jade basin. Its body was flat, resembling a woven mat. It had no head, no tail, and no legs. The missing diver was firmly clamped in its jaws, completely unresponsive. No matter how hard they pulled, they couldn't free him. Desperate, the group used a large iron hook to drag both the turtle and the man onto the shore. Once the creature was fully visible, a horrifying sight unfolded before them. Its entire body was covered in hundreds of mouths. The unfortunate diver had already been drained of all his blood, yet the creature still refused to let go. Even stabbing it with sharp blades had no effect. With no other choice, they burned the strange creature along with the lifeless body of the diver. As it burned, a foul stench filled the air, lingering for miles. Some speculated that this was merely an exceptionally large guogaiyu, potcover fish, a species known to be abundant in the lakes of Zhejiang. There are numerous theories regarding the true identity of the blood-sucking blanket, many of which originate from public speculation and online discussions. Let's analyze the most prominent theories. Due to its blood-draining nature, some believe the creature could be a type of nocturnal hematophagous animal, much like vampire bats. However, this theory seems highly improbable for several reasons. Only 3 species of vampire bats have been identified, all of which are native to the tropical and subtropical regions of the Americas. They are small creatures, with the largest species measuring no more than 3.5 inches in body length. Larger bats, such as the Malayan flying fox or the golden-crowned flying fox, are strictly herbivorous, feeding only on fruit. There are no documented blood-drinking bats in the Eastern Hemisphere. The shape and behavior of the blood-sucking blanket do not match any known bat species. It has suction cups, a rectangular or circular body, and aquatic tendencies, none of which fit the characteristics of bats. Another possibility is that the creature belongs to the category of large blood-sucking aquatic worms, such as leeches, Hirudinea. Leeches are either parasitic or predatory, attaching themselves to hosts and using suction cups to feed on blood. The largest known species, the giant Amazon leech, can grow up to 12 inches long. Some points supporting this theory. Leeches thrive in freshwater environments, which aligns with the sightings of the blood-sucking blanket in rivers and ponds. Their ability to suck blood and attach firmly to prey matches witness descriptions. However, there are significant contradictions in this hypothesis. Leeches have only 1 or 2 suction cups located on their head and tail, not hundreds of them. Leeches have a cylindrical body, which remains slightly convex even when not feeding, whereas the blood-sucking blanket is completely flat. Leeches move very slowly, using a crawling motion. They do not exhibit the rapid, leaping movements described in some reports of the blood-sucking blanket. Because of these differences, the leech theory fails to fully explain the creature's features and behavior. Some researchers propose that the blood-sucking blanket could be a member of the cephalopod family, similar to the blanket octopus, Tremoctopus, or ghost octopus. This would explain the presence of numerous suction cups used for gripping prey, the silky texture of its body, which could resemble fur or fabric. One enthusiast from an Unidentified Mysterious Animals (UMA) research forum provided a detailed argument in favor of this theory. The burning fur smell reported in encounters could be due to protein combustion, suggesting that the creature's fur is actually part of its biological makeup, rather than just moss or algae. The suction cups might not actually suck blood. Instead, they could secrete digestive enzymes, which dissolve muscle tissue, leading to a false perception of blood-sucking. However, there are 2 major flaws in this theory. No known cephalopods can survive in fresh water. None of the eyewitness reports mention tentacles, which are a defining characteristic of all cephalopods. Due to these inconsistencies, this theory remains highly speculative. This is currently the most widely accepted explanation. Many scholars believe that the blood-sucking blanket is likely a large species of cartilaginous fish, possibly related to the stingray or guitarfish, Rhinobotidae. The Huangdiaoyu, commonly known as the red stingray, is often brought up in discussions about this mystery. Some key similarities between the stingray hypothesis and the 2000 La Moli incident. The creature had a long, thin tail. It had 2 small eyes. It was described as toxic. This last detail is particularly important because stingrays are known to have venomous barbs on their tails. Many cases of stingray envenomation in humans result in severe pain, paralysis, potentially fatal bleeding if untreated. Given that stingrays are already known predators in coastal and freshwater environments, some scientists speculate that the blood-sucking blanket may simply be a yet-to-be-discovered species of freshwater stingray with unique feeding habits. According to a BBC report on June 20, 2022, on the night of June 13, a Cambodian fisherman caught a giant freshwater stingray in the Mekong River. The stingray measured 3.98 meters in length, had a width of 2.2 meters, and weighed a staggering 300 kilograms, breaking the record for the largest freshwater fish ever recorded. Interestingly, the upper reaches of the Mekong River are connected to the Lancang River, which happens to be the very region where the blood-sucking blanket has been reported. Despite the intriguing connection, this theory has some major flaws. No known cartilaginous fish species, such as stingrays or sharks, possesses multiple suction mouths. These fish typically feed on small fish and shrimp, exhibiting a non-aggressive nature toward humans. They do not attack people, let alone suck their blood. To further verify this, I examined historical records, including the 18th century biological illustrations in Haiquo Tu, created by Qing Dynasty naturalist Ni Huang. This work documents over a dozen species of stingrays, including those known as Jinhong, Huanghong, and Jimuhong. However, none of them match the description of the blood-sucking blanket. Based on the evidence, the existence of this creature remains highly questionable. One of the biggest issues is the lack of official news reports on any of the modern sightings. For instance, I could not find any verified news sources for the two key incidents from 1993 and 2000. The earliest documented mention of these cases appears in a 2004 issue of the journal Science and Technology Knowledge, Keishui Zhiyu, published by the Shaanxi Association for Science and Technology. However, even in this publication, the original source of the story is unclear. That said, a lack of media coverage does not necessarily mean the creature does not exist. To investigate further, I reached out to both online and offline communities in Yunnan province, asking local residents and bloggers about the blood-sucking blanket. The respondents ranged in age from 15 to 36 years old. Only a small number had even heard of the creature. When I mentioned alternative names such as Mat, Shizi, and Dipijuan, most had no recollection. For those who had heard of it, the stories were always passed down by elders or friends. The most common tale was that the Lancang River harbored a mysterious creature that could wrap around a person's legs and drag them underwater. There were also scattered rumors of fatal attacks, but these existed only as unverified hearsay. I was unable to locate any first-hand witnesses. I conducted a similar inquiry among residents of Zhujiang, and Zhenjiang, but found no additional useful information. This suggests that while the legend of the blood-sucking blanket does exist, it has gradually faded from public memory over time. One interesting note: a Zhenjiang resident I spoke with did not have information about the blood-sucking blanket, but he did recall hearing about a mysterious, unidentified aquatic creature lurking in the waters of Zhenjiang Port and the Yangtze River. He could not remember its exact name, but stated that elders in his family had warned about a fish-like monster, larger than a human, that would drag people off small boats and drown them. If anyone has more information on this, I would love to hear about it. From an ecological perspective, Xishuangbanna is one of the most biodiverse regions in the world. Located at the northern edge of the tropics, it has a tropical monsoon climate, making it warm and humid year-round. The region is internationally recognized as a key center for biodiversity conservation and is often referred to as the kingdom of animals and plants. Similarly, the Lancang River is home to an incredibly diverse array of aquatic life. Between Mengla County, Menglaxian, in Yunnan and northern Laos, over 745 species of freshwater fish have been recorded. The entire Mekong River basin contains nearly 1,300 fish species. Given this rich ecosystem, it is not unreasonable to suggest that an unknown aquatic species could still be lurking, awaiting discovery. The blood-sucking blanket is not the only creature of its kind in global folklore. Across the ocean, a strikingly similar cryptid exists in South America, a mysterious entity known as El Cuero. This legendary creature, reported in Chile and Argentina, is also described as a flat, blanket-like predator that lurks in the water, ambushing and suffocating its prey. Like the blood-sucking blanket, it allegedly has numerous suction-like structures and is said to drain the blood of its victims. Should we dismiss both creatures as mere myths? Not necessarily. History has shown that many legendary creatures once thought to be purely mythical have later been confirmed as real species. For example, the Hai Shang, sea monk, described in Haiquo Tu, was later identified as a leatherback sea turtle. The Fanbi Chong, reverse-nosed insect, recorded in Shanhaijing, Classic of Mountains and Seas, has been linked to tongue parasites, parasitic isopods. These cases remind us that myths and folklore often contain a kernel of truth, waiting to be uncovered by scientific research. The mystery of the blood-sucking blanket remains unsolved. Is it a real, undiscovered species? A distorted memory of a known animal? or simply a legend passed down through generations. At this stage, there is no definitive proof of its existence, but neither can it be completely ruled out. As the saying goes, the unknown will always be greater than the known. This concludes today's episode. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for our next video.